I think it behooves you to know the fundamental story and what are the drivers. Like, why is Ethereum rallying right now? Obviously, because of Shanghai. So, and not the city. But that's fundamentals. You got to know what the hell the damn story is. Why would this thing be bottoming here? Do they have any projects coming up? Did they put out a white paper recently? I don't know. Have they gone into deals with corporations? Are they, really popular in the video game space or NFTs or, why? Why? What is the fundamental driver? Okay, so you're asking me about this near. On first blush, congratulations. I'm not going, you idiots, what are you doing buying up markets? You're supposed to buy down markets, right? So way to go. At least you're focusing in on the right spot. On balance, I think that most of the consumers and the investing public has very little, if not no, interest in crypto right now at all. I might argue that names like this it's time to start accumulating. I think you've probably heard me say that once or twice recently. So, congratulations. You're heading in the right direction. So this one, a few of these names that you've given me had already started to show signs that the trend had started to turn. This one hasn't yet, which if anything is good because it's sort of like, like there was a name that you asked me to look at there a minute ago and I was like, well, I wish you had told me about this last week or a week or two ago. I think it was this one, right? Where it already gone and now I can't pay that. But, had I been informed of it down here and seen this double bottom come in, I might have been like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go pick some of that up. The fact that this one hasn't turned the corner yet, there, you can kind of see the double bottom trying to come in here. Where if this W does come in, right, there it is, zoomed in, we might have something to work with here. I do see that this downtrend is a bit flat. So I think what, kind of like what we said, the weekly chart has not turned yet. So what I think probably happens here is you're going to rally up into this level. Of course, the noobs will come in and buy that. And then we have to find out, do we actually W out on the other side of this trend line? Or, and because it is so flat, you might find that market actually just works its way along this trend line back down. So just be aware of that. Yeah, you're definitely coming in at the bottom end of ranges. So I love that. Nanny nibbles, perfectly fine. Little old ladies, if you want to start nibbling away and building a position, perfectly fine. Grimm's planting flowers. Think Grimm. First and foremost, I've told you this repeatedly, I want all of you to be rational investors. So that means that I want you to know what the fundamental story is. I know a lot of guys that I work with in this space are kind of like, fundamentals, suck horse cocks. I don't care about fundamentals. I think it behooves you to know the fundamental story and what are the drivers. Like, why is Ethereum rallying right now? Obviously, because of Shanghai. So, and not the city. But that's fundamentals. You got to know what the hell the damn story is. Why would this thing be bottoming here? Do they have any projects coming up? Did they put out a white paper recently? I don't know. Have they gone into deals with corporations? Are they, really popular in the video game space or NFTs or, why? Why? What is the fundamental driver? So I can't answer that. I would say, just looking at the chart, higher highs and higher lows means that, hey, there is some sort of demand coming in here. Technically speaking, I'd like to see a bullish divergence developing here. Not quite, We don't really see bull divs. Willie did get stupid here, so I suppose that was a terrible place to be a seller. I suppose you probably could do fibs going back down against these lows. And lo and behold, that was in a reload zone down there. That would have been darn difficult to pull the trigger down there. But anyway. Reload zones are reload zones. Suppose also too, you had a nice little test of those lows right in there. You could have snuck your way in. Even looks like candle body lows for trade location. I would really like that as a trade location. And of course, Brian's favorite fib, where I'd personally want to buy. I would rather be hunting down here at around $1.55 or so. Cheap? It's sitting right at 50% of the range. And, we kind of talk about markets look like triangles by the end of their consolidations. It looks like it's pretty normal, healthy consolidation. I mean, it's interesting to see OBV is actually breaking out to new highs. So that's pretty bullish. The volume pattern, you can see the bulls basically were falling asleep here. I think they did fall asleep right here. Interesting how they're trying to wake up here a bit. You can see the bears have also fallen asleep. So everybody's really quiet right now. And probably it's a case of what is the fundamental driver here? Am I going to bitch at you if you say, well, Brian, I kind of like this name from a fundamental perspective and I want to start accumulating. I'll do like a dollar cost averaging program to get me going. And I'm just going to start nibbling away here. Am I going to fault you for that kind of thinking? No. Would I say that this is a strong technical breakout? No. I would say that we're at the bottom end of the range. She's trying to find a bottom here. We got a little bit of a W, I suppose, for the traders. You could probably limit risk pretty easily and just simply say, look at if it goes through that level, great, I'll buy it. And I'm going to risk against that low there, right? So that limits your risk. $2 is your entry, $1.80 is your stop. So that's like 10%. That's not bad. And that's kind of like that other one that we talked about earlier, where it already did pop up, and I was kind of like, well, why didn't you tell me about this thing a couple days ago? Well, that one's actually sitting right there. If this was just a little bit lower, if it was down in this reload zone here, I'd probably go buy some right now. The fact that it's sort of sitting right here, it's sort of like, okay, why is it I'm so excited about this thing? It's not really the best trade location, but, it's sort of like, well, it sure is trying to bottom, and if it did take off from here, I'd look back and go, well, I guess that's not really that big of a surprise. So that's my comment there. Interesting ideas. I mean, like I said, I love it when I can sit here and go, yep, these are all good. You're buying at the bottom end of ranges. You're not chasing. That's a big leap forward. And how ironic, like I said earlier, this is all happening when the public isn't the slightest bit interested in this stuff. So the fact that you people are interested in these names now, and you can start, averaging your way in. Maybe just do a little bit of a nibble here. And then if we crap out, you still got some powder dry. Kind of like what we had said there with that other name. If this thing does crap out, we're probably going to come down. This could get ugly, right? I don't know whether we come all the way down into 10, 20 cents, but, it could happen. So just be forewarned. And if you're going to trade this, well, you've got your levels. I might even say maybe give it a little bit of wiggle room and maybe risk down to here. That would be like Joe's six-pack. Interestingly enough, this is actually where I would prefer to be a buyer. Maybe think of this as like a little old lady. I'll go and nibble a little bit of this because it's a W. It's at 50%. I'm not chasing. It's at the bottom end of range. But if it does get weaker because I am nanny nibbling, little old lady, maybe I'll throw in a bid at Brian's BFF, and then, I'll save some powder dry that if we do happen to really crap out, well, I can always go down and pick up some down, 50% lower. If you're kind of like, oh, I don't want to sit on that kind of mess, then I would just say, look, let this W come in, which I think it did, right? Yeah, so it has. And I'm just going to risk against this low. And if that get blown out, then I just walk away.